Dr. Atkins.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I was wanting to see if I was on. We're ready to begin this evening's board meeting, and thank you all for coming in the cold. A call to order. The board meeting of December 11th, 2018 is now called to order. The time is 6:01. At this time, we request that all electronic devices be put in the silent mode. Also, we ask that you please refrain from using flash photography except during special presentations portion of the meeting. We would like to take this opportunity to remind the members of the public of the district's mission, which is to ensure that each student achieves his or her highest personal potential, and the district's vision to be a world-class system. This evening's student representative from School Board Student Advisory Committee is Delaney Fern. Guess which one she is? Delaney Fern. And she is active in her middle school's youth group, is a member of the National Junior Honor Society. Delaney's interests include volleyball, soccer, bowling, and acting. She's planning to attend North Fort Myers High School and participating in their ACE program, then continue to college to major in acting and veterinary science field. Welcome, Delaney.
Thank you.
And this evening's agenda will include the invocation, the Pledge of Allegiance, 1 acknowledgement, 2 recognitions, public comment, consent action items, which include 3 items under executive services, which is, 1 is for good cause. Dr. Atkins, please provide an explanation for this 1 item.
Yes, Madam Chair. School Board Policy 1.26 requires that the board appoint a 15-member and 2 alternate oversight committee for the independent sales surtax, and therefore to get this committee appointed in December so that they can meet in January, it is necessary that we use this board meeting to bring that good cause item forward for your approval.
Okay. As presiding officer, I find there is good cause to add this item to the agenda. There will also be 3 items under academic services, 3 items under business services, 1 item under human resources, 1 item under information systems, and 9 items under operations, as well as 2 items under attorney's recommendations. 4 items under other business. Board members, is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Okay, it was moved by Ms. Fisher and second by Ms. Giovanelli. Please record your vote, which I don't see up there yet. Is it coming?
Takes a minute.
Okay. There it is.
Ooh, I don't have it. Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Yeah. There we go. And this.
I made a mistake.
Has everyone voted?
Not yet.
This is where we hum to ourselves. Are we done? It has not shown up on here yet. Oh, it's on there? Oh, okay. All right, there's 7 yeas. The motion carries with 7-0. Ms. Jordan, will you deliver the invocation, after which Ms. Giovanelli will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? And please rise for the invocation.
Lord, may your goodness and love be present amongst us today. Come bless our gathering with unity, hope, and vision. Build us in all a deep respect for one another so that we may be one. Lord, we pray for unity, hope, and vision. Come stir your hope and vision within our hearts. We ask all of this in your name. Amen.
The cadet presenting the national colors tonight will be introduced by Command Sergeant Major John Humphreys, Army instructor of the JROTC program for Cape Coral High School. Command Sergeant Major Humphreys retired after 26 years of active duty service and has served with the school district for the past 16 years.
Thank you. Presenting the national colors for our Pledge of Allegiance tonight is Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Kristen Chavez, Chief of Staff of the Seahawk Academy Junior ROTC program. Cadet Chavez is a junior at Cape Coral High School and an honors scholar earning a GPA of 4.30. He has been actively involved in the JROTC program over the past 3 years, filling numerous key leadership positions prior to being selected as the Chief of Staff. In addition to leadership roles in the program, he has been a leader on our marksmanship, drill, and exhibition performing teams. Outside of JROTC, he is a member of the National Society of High School Scholars. Upon graduation next year, Cadet Chavez plans to major in 3D design. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oops. Oops, oops, oops.
You may be seated.
Recognition.
We do? Yes. Okay, sorry. Do you have to say it? Yes.
Okay. I would like to ask the following people to come forward. Ms. Susan Ellinger, Exceptional Student Education Coordinator and Project Search Coordinator, Ms. Colleen Tenefettel, Project Search Teacher, Ms. Paula Sklodowski, Arts for All Board Member, Ms. Megan Daly, and Mr. Doug McGregor from Golisano Children's Hospital, and student Matteo Ingignere. Arts for All Florida, formerly VSA Florida, has recognized Matteo Ingignere as one of their Students of the Month for October 2018. Matteo has remained an honors student since middle school and has been drawing since he was 7 years old. He continues to create imaginative art which defines his character and happiness. Matteo currently works at McDonald's as well as interns in the General Supply Department at Health Park Hospital and in the Arts Healthcare Department at Golisano Children's Hospital through Project Search. There, Matteo has been able to use his drawing skills to develop some outstanding superhero marketing materials for the hospital. The school board and the superintendent are very pleased to recognize Matteo Ingignere as one of the Arts for All Florida October 2018 Students of the Month. Each year, the district solicits entries for its annual holiday greeting card display, and this year the event was open to all our middle school students. Once the entries are received, and I hope you all had a chance to look at them out in the lobby, they're fabulous. Once the entries are received, staff reviews them and votes for their favorites, which are then displayed in the lobby throughout the holiday season. It is my privilege this evening to introduce our middle school student artists. As I call your name, please come forward with your school representatives. Dr. Douglas Santini, Executive Director of Fine and Performing Arts and Constituent Services, will you please join me at the podium and assist me in handing out these recognition plaques. Thank you. First up, and I believe the art is up on the screen, Celia LaCourte, a student at 7th grade at Bonita Springs Middle. Her principal is Ms. Melissa Lehner, and her art teacher is Ms. Joy Cooper. Hi there, nice to see you. Yeah, Cypress Lake Middle, Piper Keller.
Yeah, she's not here. She's
Right, I have that. From Cypress Lake Middle, Piper Kelleher, student, 7th grade. She is unable to attend, so Andrew Miller, assistant principal, will accept on her behalf, as well as Ms. Kelly Maniscalco, principal, and Ms. Joy Williams, art teacher. It looks like it's just...
It's just me.
Okay.
Does it go?
Good. From Gulf Middle, 7th grade student Jasmine Hoffman, and with her are Mr. Wes Moreland, her principal, and Ms. Erica Edwards, her art teacher. From Lexington Middle, Caitlin Chauncey. She's a student in the 8th grade. Her principal is Ms. Kristen Bueno, and her art teacher is Mr. Scott Whipple. Nice. Congratulations. Oh, there she is. Chris, it's good to see you. From North Fort Myers Academy for the Arts, Anna Gibson is an 8th grade student, and Kalani Reed is also an 8th grade student. Their principal is Dr. Thomas Millens, and their art teacher is Ms. Teresa West Talo.
you.
And joining me is my amazing assistant principal, Andrea Guns, as well.
Oh, okay. Andrea Guns. From Hall Lawrence Dunbar Middle, Jada Bonilla Maas, she's a 6th grade student. Dr. Nathan Shaker is her principal, and Ms. Kellen Mills is the art teacher. And from Varsity Lakes Middle, Jenny Tang is an 8th grade student. Her principal is Mr. Matthew Medeiros, and her art teacher is Ms. Marjorie Ressler. Hey, nice to see you, Matt.
Great to see you.
Thank you to all who participated. The artistic talent of these students and the dedication of their principals and art teachers are sincerely appreciated. Their efforts have brightened our holidays. Thank you.
So just go back to it.
Oh, okay. I'll do it now and then later, okay. Okay, before everyone that wants to leave, I'd like to have Delaney Fern present our character education word for December.
The character education word for December is kindness, demonstrating concern for the well-being of others, giving support, and showing of empathy. Quote, kindness is the language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see. Mark Twain.
Thank you. We'll take just a short pause in the meeting if anyone wants to leave at this point before we get to the business section. It is so exciting now. Thank you so much for coming, parents and teachers. Okay, we will now call the meeting back to order. And at this point, we will have public comment. Mr. Dodick, please address the agenda item of public comment.
School board policy provides the opportunity at this point in the meeting to address the board concerning any matter on this meeting's agenda or any other matter relevant to the operation of the school district. If you completed a card and submitted it before the meeting began, you will be called in the order of the cards submitted. If you do not submit a card but still wish to address the board this evening, Ms. Gittens, the board chair, will give you an opportunity in a moment to express that desire. The rules concerning public comment are posted at the back of the room. The board does not respond during public comment time to remarks made by speakers. At the end of the public comment period, the board chair will address the assignment of any concerns or requests made during public comment to the superintendent. Speakers and those attending the meeting are expected to act in a respectful manner. Attacks on individuals or abusive comments are prohibited. Time per speaker this evening is 3 minutes. Madam Chair, I have 6 cards.
Okay, we have the opportunity to those who may be unfamiliar with public comment process to raise their hands and provide their names. The blue card is a public record identifying those who speak and providing contact information for staff for follow-up. If you did not complete a public comment card, please either proceed to Ms. Johnson after you have finished your statement. As a written record. So before calling on the blue cards, is there anyone that did not write a blue card out that wants to speak? Anyone on my left? On my right? Okay, I think you're ready.
You want me to call the first speaker?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Teresa West Taylor.
Good evening. I'm here speaking on behalf of North Fort Myers Academy of the Arts and our recent production of Moana Junior. We did this at the bequest of Disney theatrical licensing, and as the Polynesians would say, tolofa. When they asked us if we would be willing to be the first ever school to pilot a theatrical production of Moana Junior, we said yes. And the script was sent to us in late September this year with the understanding that the show needed to be performed before the end of this calendar year. With an already packed performing arts schedule, we had to be strategic with our casting and with planning rehearsals. Because this pilot was in its beginning stages, we received only a bare bones script and only the vocal and piano score. It was our job to help figure out what was going to work and what pieces needed editing. We met as a group to come up with a clear vision and a track to run on. Many of us spoke on a daily basis throughout this process. Our main team consisted of a director, music director, set designer, animatronic designer, costume designer, choreographer, and a Polynesian consultant. It was most important to our team that we teach the students how to honor the Polynesian culture with its rich history by telling the story based on truth and authenticity rather than stereotypes and assumption. We also wanted to have fun, as the Moana movie did, by bringing in the giant 7-foot-tall crab and creating a giant 10-foot-tall lava-throwing goddess. So NFMA's production of Moana Junior turned out to be a huge success with 2 sold-out shows, rave reviews, and spontaneous standing ovations. We sent our first performance recording off to Disney, and in no time they were communicating how thrilled they were with the outcome. In fact, they immediately offered us another pilot production for our spring musical. While Moana Junior was in its beginning stages, this musical is in its 3rd round of edits, and we will likely be one of the last schools to perform this one before it is released for licensing. This production is already a very well-known full-length movie musical and Broadway stage production. We will be producing the junior version, which is condensed to about an hour performance. We look forward to seeing you at NFMA's spring musical, Newsies Junior. The feedback we received on the females in our show in particular was outstanding. One of the comments from Disney was, "We would love to see more of your large female cast. Newsies in skirts would be great." Thank you.
Next speaker is actually two students who want to support each other. They only have 3 minutes, Sarah Malloy and Anthony Michelesi.
Hello, my name is Anthony Michelesi,
I'm Sarah Malloy.
and we are here tonight to speak about our community service project that we are doing. We are 2 seniors at Cape Coral High School in the IB program. We talked to Miss Gittens a couple of days ago when she asked us to come speak at public comment to introduce this project. Just a community service project about giving back to the community, especially low-income and homeless women in the area, and I'll let Sarah explain.
So what we're doing is we're collecting both new and used bras for the homeless and low-income women of Southwest Florida, as it is something that not many people realize they need, and it gives them a big confidence boost to go out into the world, especially the workforce, and get them out of the situations that may be in. So not only are we collecting these bras, but we're also collecting other hygiene products, and we're hoping to further talk with the board about setting up a donation bin here, as well as other public school-related places to collect these donations.
And that's our project.
The next speaker is Anthony Thomas.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Anthony Thomas. I'm pleased tonight to announce that in conjunction with the Community Foundation Forum, which is President Crystal Johnson, has partnered with State Representative Byron Donalds to sponsor young people to go to Washington, D.C. and to Tallahassee. Regardless of your political affiliation, a special thing's going to happen in Washington, D.C. here coming up, and that is the first woman will be the Speaker of the House again. I was in Washington the first time that happened in 2007, and boy, was that a magical experience. So these young people from Lee County will have the opportunity. We're going to board up right here at the school district headquarters, and I want to say that Byron Donalds is working very hard with our entire local legislative delegation to help fund the trip so that the students don't have to pay a dime. Also, the students are going to be able to go to Tallahassee and see the swearing in of the new governor. Ron DeSantis, whether or not you voted for him or not, he's going to make history as the youngest person ever elected as the governor of Florida. The students will not only get to go to Ron's inauguration, they're actually going to have an opportunity to get a tour of the Capitol by Representative Donalds, and they're going to meet with the entire local legislative delegation. I encourage members of the board to get behind this. This is a trip that we've done multiple times. We took students to President Obama's inauguration. We took students for the groundbreaking of the MLK monument. We recently took students to Trump's inauguration, and we took students just a couple months ago to a march on Washington with gun violence. So many of you know I'm very passionate about government and politics. This is something that our young people will have an opportunity to be involved in. We're going to send an email to all the principals tomorrow. We ask that the principals disseminate the information to the students. Let me give out Representative Byron Donalds' email address, because if you want to nominate a student to go, please send an email to byrondonalds@gmail.com. byrondonalds@gmail.com. That's not to send any complaints that you may have at a later date. Just send nominations for students to go that you think would be good to be on this trip. And I want to nominate those 2 young students from Cape Coral High? We want to have students like that because it's very important that students understand government. They become civically involved. I can remember being a young person in 2001 at 16 years old, going to the inauguration of George Bush. It was a very interesting event. Protesters everywhere, but we got a chance to witness history. I want the young people to experience that. Representative Donalds would like for you guys to get behind this. Mr. Superintendent, please work with us as we disseminate the information and get the staff to participate. Thank you.
Ramey Hall is the next speaker.
Hi, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. Big changes on the board. Congratulations to the new members. I want to talk about some changes I hope we'll see too. Maybe you guys can help with. Public comment. I really hope that when people come and speak, we'll start to see more comments from you guys. I think that's important. When people give up their time, I think it deserves a response, not just from the chair, from all of you and the superintendent. Safety. That's a big concern of mine. I think we've got a big mess in Lee County. We hired a safety director. Not sure what's changed. Don't know if we're waiting for the tax money to make the changes. Guess we'll see. I'd like to know if we met the deadlines for 7026. I know we don't have single points of entry in many schools, among other things. Please look into that. Let's talk about weapons. A lot of weapons being brought to public school campuses here. Hopefully you're getting this on your incident reports, looking over them, taking notes. I would encourage you all to ask for a count of how many weapons have been taken from Lee County schools this year. How many will it take for you to take action? Cypress Lake Middle, Lehigh High School have recently both had weapons taken. At Cypress, it was reported that a student took a knife to school. He got arrested, parents were contacted. Turns out staff didn't catch the knife, a student reported it. I don't think staff should have to catch a knife. I think we should have proactive measures. We don't. He took the knife 2 days. 2 days. He took a knife to school. No one caught it. When will we wake up and put proactive measures in our schools? What will it take? I asked this board that tonight. We need metal detectors in every middle and high school. Let's face it, you cannot even keep jewels out of high schools and middle schools. The bathrooms are just a mess with jewels and vapes. You can't keep weapons out either. We need something to be done. Our safety director said metal detectors aren't effective. I don't agree with him. I'd like to see that research. They've been very effective in courthouses and airports, and ex-Sheriff Scott said it's the only way to keep students safe. Middle school math, whew, that's a tough one, y'all. We got a mess with our middle school math here. You guys are aware of the problem. Let's fix it. Let's not make this whole year a mess. Make changes over Christmas break. When the students come back, let's have something in place. Middle schoolers shouldn't be taking math tests on Google Chromebooks. It is not effective. In high school, the AP test, SATs, ACTs, they are done on paper. Why are we testing middle schoolers on Chromebooks? Ms. Morgan stated when she was chair that less testing is happening here now than ever. That is not correct. All of middle school is based on the FSA. If you're taking an ESC, you're double blocked. Please tonight, take action. Let's make changes. You guys can make a difference. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Louis Navarro.
Good evening, Superintendent, Board. Congratulations, new members. I always thought I was a better choice, but the voters thought otherwise. This is not Syracuse. This is Sarasota High. I got to wear it because we won state and conference on the golf team, and we could wear what they called an athletic jacket. It's almost 60 years old. Still almost fits me. I wanted to talk briefly about the calendar committee. I did some research, and we spoke with the assistant superintendent. I was disappointed that Veterans Day was ignored because it fell on a Sunday. Everybody else had the day off, and I was surprised when I saw school being held. I think that's kind of like a little bit of a hypocrisy to our veterans, and I did serve. So I hope that that will never happen again. Everybody else had the day off, city, county, well, post office, of course. I'd like to see the calendar committee take a little input. I realize there are 24 strong now. I learned a lot. Hope we never start the school year on a Friday again, and I brought that up before. And one of the suggestions I had is I had sensitivity training with the district. We did that about 16 years ago, was when I was a full-time teacher. I think that would be a good thing to start for the board all the way on down to everybody else, even the support personnel. I was impressed with that, but that was a previous superintendent. I'd still like to see a few paper agendas. what if someone doesn't have a computer? I really think that is a violation of their rights. That's my opinion. So I'm going to wish you all a Merry Christmas, and hopefully we'll have a great new year, and with the new board, we'll accomplish great things. Thank you.
Jerry Ware?
Good evening. Welcome, new members and superintendent and our new chair. When you see me rise, you can always bet that I'm going to say something about James Stephens. But I want you to know that I am not only an advocate for James Stephens, I'm an advocate for all kids. In this particular instance, I am advocating for mental health. Thank you so much, Superintendent, for going to James Stephens. I know you were there. They always let me know what's going on over at James Stephens. I pray that our young man, my kindergartner, was not up in the tree, which he normally will go and do. So what I'm saying to you tonight is that I am not sure of what we are doing about mental health. You know, it is prevalent all over the nation. That is why we're having so many guns and so many killings and all of this stuff. And we've got to be proactive in our schools. And Ms. Fisher, thank you for letting me know that the problem is also at another school. I'm not happy it is there. I just want to let you all know that I think that we need to be a little bit more proactive about how we approach mental health issues and do something about it, because if we don't, it's going to become worse and worse and worse. It'll grow into adulthood. And thank you for the opportunity. Be blessed during the holidays.
Ms. Gittens, that's all the cards.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to start at the end, do it a little bit different. And Ms. Ware, I acknowledge the fact of the mental health issues. I worked at James Stephens for a while, and I have been one of the people talking a child off of the edge of the windowsill, and it is an issue. And I don't know if I can do this, but Ms. Fisher, can you address that for us? Would you?
Well, we have a mental health plan that's that has been fashioned and is being implemented. I think what my conversation with Ms. Ware was that the mental health issues are our schools are a microcosm of society, so we have issues with people at all schools and in our community, and it's in the news all of the time, and we're doing everything we can. We have hired more social workers and school counselors and nurses and social workers and psychologists are part of a mental health team at each school, and so the effort is being made to identify kids in need and get them to the services that they need. And you can get more information from Ms. Brooks, the Assistant Director of School Counseling, because she has been instrumental in writing the plan. We also have a partnership with our mental health providers in the community to try to help kids and families. All of that is done for children with the permission and cooperation of their parents. So I think that's the best I can do right now.
And Mr. Navarro, thank you for your comments about the calendar committee and Veterans Day. Superintendent, is there something, can we address that issue, or since the calendar's set? Or?
Yeah, I can give you a little bit of history in terms of that particular issue. You know, Veterans Day is a holiday that actually our veterans have weighed in on over the years. There's a large group of veterans that at the time this issue really came to the forefront that was really supportive of not having Veterans Day off because they wanted to have veterans programs in schools. There was another group of veterans that was very much in favor of having that off as a tribute to veterans and those employees that were veterans, so giving them that day off. So the compromise position at the time was to have Pride and Patriotism. That's how Pride and Patriotism actually came into being. And a board member, Dr. Skrika, was instrumental to putting that together as a really good compromise position. So from that point forward, we have always had it when it fell on a weekday as having it as a day off. and then when it, and then of course having Pride and Patriotism as the opportunity for students to come together with our veterans and learn about Veterans Day. I think this particular one happened to fall on a weekend, so that's why the calendar committee selected the date that it did. And then if you ever serve on the calendar committee, you understand that there's a lot of variables that they have to weigh. There's professional duty days, other holidays. They're trying to get as much in as they can prior to the semester. But we're always open to input, and that's why they have the committee every year to consider that input. They do solicit a large amount of input prior to making a decision, and that's something that takes place every year. And I believe, and I'm looking at Dr. Pruitt here, but there is an opportunity for public comment at the beginning of a meeting. So members of the public can come and can speak directly to the calendar committee when it convenes.
Okay. And that's a point I wanted to raise as well to the audience and those watching online, that there are a lot of our advisory boards and our committees, and go online on the website and find some of them and find out if you can go to the different ones and make comments, and that way you will get some of the answers as well. Ms. Holm, Brittany, is she still here? It's Hall, Ms. Hall?
Hall, yes.
Is she still here?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, in response to the board members giving response to public comment, and that's something that I would ask the attorney. At one point, we wait until the end under each board member's comment to make comments about public comment. I don't know if that's something that we need to do at the time, if anyone has any comments. Can you?
Yeah, well, I can. I'm looking at your protocols, and what you all have agreed to is that the board member comment parameters, that's at the end of the meeting.
Right.
So during this point of the meeting, the board has essentially agreed that the board chair would respond on behalf of the board, which is what you're doing.
Right.
I mean, and it's fine for you to call on other board members or the superintendent relative to those comments. So.
We can address that later, because if someone does have additional information or a comment, I have no problem with them doing it at this point, if they do. She discussed the safety director. Would you like to discuss that,
Sure.
Superintendent?
So in terms of the changes that have happened for this particular school year, we have been able to really make a significant progress, point a single point of entry in a school. So our schools, just about, I think we have all but down to just a handful of schools that do not have a single point of entry. The vast majority of them do, and that means that once the students are in, there's only one way in and out of the school. In addition to that, we are in the process of installing the cameras that allows us to buzz in and out. So I'm assured by the end of the year that will be taken care of. The challenge regarding the camera is you walk up to a building and you have to identify yourself on camera and ID if that's necessary before you can enter the office. That is the product being able to come into the school district and be installed is what the holdup is there. It's everybody around the country has been ordering this particular product from this particular company. So, we've had a bit of a struggle getting that here, but we have it in all of our high schools. And we have it in a significant number of our elementary schools, and by the end of the year, I'm told that we will have that project completed. And again, there's a situation where we had really virtually hardly any across the district before any of this happened, and now you're going to get to a point where every single school is that way. I think what's more important is that you've got safety and security protocols relative to supervision and student behavior and threat assessment teams that have been deployed to schools. So that's important and ongoing. You have the mental health team that was mentioned by Ms. Fisher, And also Lori Brooks just put out the mental health implementation guide, which I would encourage all of you to be briefed on that. And if that's something you'd like us to bring forward as a briefing item, we certainly can do that. So we have that ongoing training. We have the, of course, the active shooter training that has taken place and continues to take place. The other thing that's interesting is cybersecurity that Mr. Davis heads up. So we've made significant progress there. In fact, we've got an item that's coming forward for approval that this evening that will actually help us with that monitoring system. We can do that centrally. That way, if these things happen out there on social media, we can get notice of it. So a lot of different things are happening that have happened since the Parkland tragedy, and then we continue to move forward with implementing others. We do have, if you look at Bonita Springs High School and the safety and security that is occurring there, you have layers of security, and you've got more intelligent technologies that relates to the video system, and you're going to see that as we replace video cameras moving forward. You're going to see that improve and be implemented for all of our buildings. And the referendum certainly helps us expedite that process, so we're able to actually turn that over at a faster rate than we would have been able to had we not been successful at the referendum.
Okay. She also mentioned the testing in the middle school math. Is that something we should refer to Dr. Creel?
I'll ask Dr. Creel to respond to that and provide the board a follow-up to that, and we can also have that sent to Ms. Hall.
And Mr. Thomas, on the Washington and Tallahassee trip, thank you for the information. And if you have not already, I would suggest you send the particulars to the superintendent, and he can forward it on to us for further.
Right, absolutely.
And Sarah and Anthony left, and I met them at a meeting on the weekend, and I thought it was so good to see the seniors and our students being involved in community events and helping the community. So I invited them to come tonight. And Ms. Tallum, if she's still in the audience as well. Is it Tallum, Teresa? Okay. And I think some of the board members went to the production. Moana Jr., was that, would you like to? The two of you?
Yeah, sure. I thought it was fabulous. I mean, it was so impressive to see these young people put on that show, and roles that were what we would have normally thought that were a male role were performed by a female, and she was fabulous. And just the creative work that they did with creating that 7-foot tall volcano, it was really, really impressive. And then I'm really happy that they're now going to be doing Newsies, which is, it's an honor, and we should really be really proud of these kids and all the teachers and everyone else.
Any further comments, Ms. Fisher? Okay.
No,
Okay.
it was awesome, and the staff really provides a lot of opportunity for the students to develop self-confidence and high self-esteem and be successful.
And just to close out the public comment, I'd like to say Merry Christmas to Happy Holidays, whatever it is you choose, to all of those that took the time to come this evening and to share your thoughts or questions or feelings with the board. And we hope that more people will take advantage of that as well. Our next is the approval of action items in the agenda under consent. The documentation for action items listed under consent is made available to the board members 7 days prior to the board meeting. We are expected to review all the material, and we have an opportunity to speak with the superintendent with any questions we may have regarding these recommendations. Some of these items also have been briefed, and what that is we have a briefing meeting where members of staff will come and explain different items and new things that we will be faced with, or workshopped. And in the workshop, we do, it's open to the public, but there is no public comment at that meeting, and that's where we basically discuss different items with the board in advance of appearing on action and agenda. Board members, are there any agenda items you wish to pull for discussion under unfinished business tabled items portion of the agenda?
I have no polls this
Fisher?
evening.
I have none.
Ms. Pacheco?
thank you.
No, thank you.
I do not.
I have none.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the agenda's consent items? That's Ms. Giovanelli and seconded by Ms. Jordan. Please record your vote. Has everyone voted?
Takes a second.
And the motion passes 7-0. Dr. Atkins, please read your we don't have any pulled items, I'm sorry. Dr. Atkins, please introduce any administrators in attendance with new assignments that were approved under the consent agenda.
We do not have any new assignments to report this board meeting.
Okay, they're waiting until after Christmas.
Right.
Okay, all right. At this point, we're going to recess the regular school board meeting so that we can convene the leasing corporation meeting. We will now recess at this time and go into the leasing corporation meeting, and Ms. Morgan will be chairing that portion.
As president of the Lee County School Board Leasing Corporation, I would like to call this meeting of December 11th, 2018 to order. The time is 6:53 p.m. This evening's agenda includes public comment, 2 secretaries' recommendations, other business, and adjournment. Do I hear a motion for adoption of the agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Vaughn,
Second?
seconded by, Jordan. Motion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries 7-0. We will now take public comment. Mr. Dodig, please address the agenda item of public comment.
School board policy provides an opportunity at this point to address any matter regarding the school board leasing corporation agenda. The subject of comment is limited to those items on the leasing corp agenda. Time permitted is 3 minutes. I have no cards.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the board about the leasing corporation? Okay, seeing none, we'll now move to Secretary's recommendations. Dr. Atkins, will you please read the recommendations?
Approve the minutes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, he's got to keep me straight over here. So, recommendation to approve the minutes from the last meeting of the Lee County School Board Leasing Corporation held on December 12th, 2017. I'll now entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Ms. Fisher, seconded by Ms. Giovanelli. Is there any discussion?
Is it?
No, this is not correct. You're the secretary.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to
Still.
read the recommendation so that I could then call for the vote.
Yes, that's right.
Just trying to help you out.
You have a motion in a second, so
Yeah.
go ahead and call the vote.
Okay, I now call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 7-0. Would you please read the second
All right, here it is.
recommendation,
Recommendation to approve the.
Mr. Secretary?
All right, recommendation is to approve the organizational resolution of the Lee County School Board Leasing Corporation for the election of officers.
Yeah, go ahead, read them.
Gwinnetta Gittens, S. Gittens, President. Chris N. Patrica, Vice President. Gregory K. Adkins, Secretary. Gregory J. Blurton, Treasurer.
Directors, you've heard the Secretary's recommendation to approve the organizational resolution of the Lee County School Board Leasing Corporation for the election officers. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Giovanelli.
Second?
Seconded by Mrs. Jordan. Okay, is there any discussion? I will now call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
Okay. At this time, as new president, we'll now move to other business. Please note that comments may only be made in your capacity as directors or officers of the corporation. Are there any comments, Ms. Fisher? No, thank you. Ms. Giovanelli?
Just Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all.
Ms. Patrica?
No, thank you.
Ms. Jordan?
No, thank you.
Ms. Vaughn?
No, thank you.
Ms. Morgan?
No, thank you.
Dr. Atkins?
No, thank you.
And I have none. At this point, having no other business to come before this body, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Ms. Fisher and seconded Ms. Giovanelli. I will now take a vote. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to say aye. Aye. Motion carries 7-0. We will now close the leasing corporation meeting and call back to order a regular school board meeting. And at this point, we have the attorney's recommendations. Mr. Dodig, will you please share your recommendation?
Sure. I recommend approval of the appointment of Mrs. Melissa Giovanelli as the school board member to the Value Adjustment Board, with Ms. Debbie Jordan as the alternate school board member.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay. Moved by Ms. Fisher and second. I believe we do not need a second.
No, I second.
Okay. And a second by Ms. Morgan. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, please record your vote. Takes a minute.
Yeah. Weird. Because you had yours way before me. Because you're first.
Technology is good, but it gives you patience. And the motion passes 7-0. Next, we have approval of the contract for professional services with Capital Strategies Consulting Incorporated. Mr. Dodig.
Sure. Recommend approval of the contract for professional services with Capital Strategies Consulting, Inc. to provide complete state legislative and governmental relations activities for the period of December 12th, 2018 through December 11th, 2019, at the estimated expenditure of $60,000 for the contract period. Approval authorizes the superintendent to execute all documents.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Ms. Morgan and seconded by Ms. Giovanelli. Is there any discussion? I would like to ask, and I don't know if Mr. Dodig could do it for the purposes of the public that is watching.
Sure.
Just to explain just briefly what this is about.
Sure. Like most school districts, or every school district in Florida, the school district has the need for essentially a lobbyist or a consultant that provides services relative to the legislative platform of the district. And Ms. Carol Green and Ashley Stasel, who own this company, Capital Strategies Consulting, Inc., have provided that service for the 2017-2018 school year, and this would extend their contract for another year to provide those services for us.
Okay, thank you very much. Ladies, if we can record your vote, please. Everybody vote.
It's not up yet.
I think you're on the wrong one. And the motion carries 7-0. Okay, our next item, there are no public hearings tonight. And other business, we are now at the point for comments, board member comments. And if, Ms. Morgan, would you like to begin?
Sure. I'd like to thank Ms. Taylor for talking to us about the Moana production and the invitation to do the Newsies. I think it's awesome that the Disney people recognize the talent in this district, both in staff and students. So I thank her for coming forward and addressing that for public consumption. I also want to thank Sarah and Anthony for coming and talking about their project, and I look forward to hearing the outcome. And I believe those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Giovanelli?
Again, Happy New Year and Merry Christmas. I'm just all excited. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Patrica?
When do we approve the Oversight Committee?
Oh, yeah.
It will be...
It became part of the consent agenda
Oh, it
once,
did? Okay.
yes, once
Good
the
cause.
good cause was approved, yes. So
No comments.
you've already approved it.
Oh, okay, okay. So no comments. Ms. Jordan?
I would just like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas as well, and I believe everyone has already spoken for us, so thank you.
Ms. Vaughn?
I would like to thank everybody who has come up and taken their time to speak, and hopefully everyone will be able to get appropriate feedback. Also, I just want to echo what everybody else has said, to wish everybody, both here in the auditorium and those of you online, watching online, to have a very happy holiday season and a good new year.
And Delaney, it's your opportunity to speak to us.
I would just like to say to everyone in the audience and everyone watching on TV, have a happy holidays and a happy new year.
Very good. And Ms. Fisher?
And I would like to thank Delaney for representing our Student Advisory Committee here tonight. And I want to thank our hardworking staff for all that they have done this whole first semester. And now I would like to wish a happy, healthy holiday season to our students, their parents and families, and the staff. Thank you.
Okay. And now it's my turn. I just want to mention two wonderful events that I had taken part in. Dunbar High School last week had a Black History Bowl, and it was quite interesting to see what the students know about Black history. And Mr. Fred Morgan from NAACP was running it, and they had the questions and all. There was a lot of local history, and it was interesting. It was a lot of fun to see what the kids did. And the team that won, it was very interesting. We could not have gotten more diverse group for the winners. And I will be going to have lunch with them on Thursday as their reward for winning. I also went to the Girls Club at James Stevens with Ms. Hood. You'll know what I'm talking about. And these were 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade girls. And the most interesting thing was at the end, I was talking about running for public office and doing that type of thing. And so one little girl said, "Well, why did you do it?" And they were all sitting there looking at me with these big eyes, and I got tears in my eyes, and I said, "I know you're not going to make me cry," but they did. And I said, basically, for all of you, to let everyone know how wonderful and beautiful and what a great future you will have. So that if you get an opportunity, other board members, Ms. Hood is welcome to have anybody come and to speak to her girls' club. And then finally, I want to remind everybody of our lighthouse, because we are all lighthouses and someone is always watching you and looking to be safe with something you have done or said. And a safe and happy holiday to everyone, and we appreciate you coming out. Attorney's comments, Mr. Dodick?
Other than happy holidays, I have no other comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Superintendent?
Just a couple quick items. First of all, thanks thank you to the board for the selection of the Oversight Committee. And I know that that took time and effort on your part, and I think the board was very diligent in its selection of members, so thank you for that. In addition to that, we also approved the Lehigh Senior addition, and that's critically important for us to get started in January, so we're looking forward to breaking ground on that exciting project, and hope to bring that fruition by the end of the year so students can start there with our very next school year. Final thing, I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday, and a safe New Year. Looking forward to wrapping up what I think has been a very successful semester for our school district. A lot of exciting changes, but also looking forward to 2019 and taking it to a whole new level. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Our next scheduled meeting of the board will be on January 9th, and the agenda will be out at least 7 days before. So if you let everyone know to look at the agenda, see if there's anything that would bring you out to the meetings, or else watch us online as well. At this point, having no other business come before the body, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move. Second.
Okay. Ms. Ms. Vaughn has motion, and a second by Ms. Giovanelli. And please record your vote.
Shoot, I logged out already.
Oh, no. We can do it live, can't we?
No.
Okay.
I'll go back in.
All right.
Whoops, wrong one.